in God, trusting in Him, then they're able to see miracles in their lives. And that's what we try to do through the Word of God by preaching the positiveness about God and what He can do and what He's already done.
Just recently, I had a personal incident that happened where I had some bad news. And the situation was not a wonderful situation. And I had to speak with my family, and I had to make some decisions. And then at 12 p.m. at midnight, I received a phone call from Bishop Arquette. We had about a 45-minute discussion on the phone. And this was something to enrich my life and just to remind me that there is something there to believe in faith and to continue to make a difference. On Sunday, when I came to church, came to Mass, it brought me back. You know, I was there where I started to question myself about why I'm here. Why did I become a physician, especially after the news? And I'm not going into it because I wasn't happy about the incident that happened. And it wasn't about me, it's about what I do and what we do.
Yeah, right.
You know, about making a difference and really taking our time and helping our community where this was being basically held against us. But we spoke on the phone for about 45 minutes, and we started to basically communicate and about entrusting our belief and our faith in each other, plus what we represent. After the phone call, I sat back and I started to think, and I said, okay, well, what do I need to do? I need to recreate and think about what I'm here for and what I'm about and what I mean to Dr. Burkett and Church Alive and our community. And again, when I came in Sunday, I felt fulfilled. There was a meaning that I'm here for a reason to continue and to better myself. And it was a wonderful feeling to have a phone call at 12 o'clock and be able to discuss the issues. And that's that faith that we have in each other, someone to lean on. And again, being like a family member, a father figure, a mentor, and as my pastor, minister. I have another question for Eddie. Actually, it's something, not really a question, but I'd like him to go over a story. I was moved by a story that he mentioned. A few months back, he mentioned this story about a young child in his religious class, and I'd like to share and enrich our audience with this same story.
Oh, absolutely. At the time, I had 14 kids in the class, and this one particular kid, every week he would come to class, and he would come in and just throw his sack in the seat and just sit there in a no interest position. And as a teacher, I guess you would say, well, why don't you go and address this kid? And I did. I tried to address him. I tried to work with him. And I'm saying, you know, I'm looking at this kid, and like, I'm just wondering what's going on with this guy. And, you know, 1 month goes by, 2 months goes by, 3 months go by. And I'm still thinking, you know, I don't see any interest in him. And 4 months go by, 5 months. And then this one particular day, I'm going to class, and about 6 months down the road, and kids just became awful that day. I don't know what the purpose or what the reason was, but anyway, for some reason, it was just horrible that day. I just had maybe I was having a bad day or something. I don't know, but anyway, when I stood up and I said, "Okay, guys, you know what? You're giving me you're actually giving me no reason to actually stay here today. So you know what? I think it'd be best if I would leave." So as I pretended to get up and I was leaving, lo and behold, there was one voice stood up in the classroom and said, "Please, Mr. Roach, please don't leave. I need you." And lo and behold, who was that one kid? With the one kid that I thought was never listening to me.
Right.
So I guess the moral of the story is, even though you can be out there yelling and screaming every day, people do actually listen to us. Amen. And that's what the moral I got back. And I honestly, I tremendously felt, it really, really gave me such a reward internally. Mm-hmm. I said, you know, that's worth it. Because let me tell you, folks, this is what I do is I volunteer my time. I don't get paid for this. This is something that I want to do. And, excuse me, and then to see something like that happen, that is just an example of why it just elevates me more to get more done. And actually, we just had our Catechetical Sunday, which was yesterday. And that's why I'm wearing this beautiful rose. And I thought I'd bring it on the show with me. And tomorrow we go back to class. And hi, guys. And hopefully we'll have a nice year.
Yeah, Eddie just said something, and I just want to bring that back to the point of faith, that youngster believed in you.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I
And
remember.
there's where faith is. And you got to believe in your doctor. If you believe in God and you believe in your instructor or your pastor, you're exercising faith.
Absolutely.
And that caused a reaction, because by exercising faith, it showed to you that somebody cared. And that makes you do more. And that's
Absolutely.
the same thing with God.
Absolutely.
When we exercise faith and we trust in God and we show him that we really need him, then he begins to do more for us. And there's where the spiritual part comes in, and there's where the physical part comes in.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And that's what happened. That kid really believed in you, and you didn't know it.
I didn't know it.
Until the kid said something.
Absolutely. I remember I was in the gym later, and I said it to one of my co-teachers, and she turned around, and her answer actually was, you actually got to him. Which even made me feel pretty good inside.
Sure.
So I just want to thank the men
Thank
upstairs
God,
for,
yeah,
as I said, we
right.
come from a greater power, and let it come right down through me and out to the children. Because really the children are our future.
Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
So by believing in God, we make God feel good.
I hope.
And in turn, when he feels good, he begins to bless us, heal us, open doors.
It certainly
for us,
feels
and all
that way,
those
Bishop
things.
Burkett. It certainly feels that way.
That's part of the sermon that Tommy O was telling you about that Sunday when he came in. And we were talking about David and Goliath. And David said, I remembered how God helped me with the lion and how God helped me with the bear.
Sure.
Now, I believe if he's the same God that helped me with the lion and the bear, what is Goliath? But another opportunity for God. And that's faith.
That is faith.
And it moves.
And
And he took something that was impossible, but because he believed, it became possible. And same thing with a doctor. If we don't believe in our doctors, and they give us a medication, and we don't really have faith in that doctor, we're not going to take the medication.
Absolutely.
And many people put the medication and say, I'm going to take it. I don't believe in him.
Right.
But by believing in him, they take the medicine. And so there's where faith and the doctor must work
I guess
together.
that's a good example by when you say, well, we truly believe in God, because look what happens when you do believe in God.
Yeah.
Actually, stuff does happen.
It does happen.
Absolutely.
Well, it's a gift that we're given to be able to educate our people, our community, and making a difference. Again, you've made a difference, and you touched this life. I want to go into how we apply this in everyday principles, because that's important, because it's, again, how spiritual healing and modern medicine go hand in hand. For me, I'll just give you an example how I apply this. A patient comes into me, and they ask for my help. Well, the first thing I need to do is I need to develop a relationship with them so they feel comfortable with me, that they can trust me and have faith in me. And how do I do that? Well, first of all, I introduce them to myself and make them feel cared about, cared for. I break down those barriers, those differences. I want to make them feel comfortable, and so there are familiar similarities between us, and then I take that faith, that commitment, that they know that I'm here for them, and that faith to make a difference and educate them about medicine and about disease and pathology. When I do this, when I educate them, they're more apt to follow my instruction, and we have a better outcome. And this is based on my beliefs, on how I practice medicine, on how I was brought up, which is no different than our panel here today. My next question is for Dr. Burkett. This will be, I want to go over Jesus, because Jesus was a healer.
Right.
Would you be able to define Jesus laying his hands and making a difference of being a spiritual healer?
Right. Well, the laying on of hands and using oil, all of those are really just a point of contact, because a point of contact is almost like a wire that you connects between one through the plug in the wall and the light that goes on.
Right.
But if you take that wire away, then there's no connection. So, and there's no juice going through. Right, and energy. So, and when Jesus lays hands, that's almost like coming from the Father, his Father, through him, into that person.